who have suffered unimaginable injustice from Somalia. Bombs, summary executions, mass graves have been filled with the bodies of innocent civilians and very often children. Somalilanders were denied assistance from humanitarian organizations, were denied entry into Somaliland, and where Somalilanders and freedom fighters were trying to heal their injured. Help was denied, medical aid assistance was denied to them, not only on the ground, but also MIGs, overflow areas where casualties were being treated under trees and in temporary shelters. Many victims, many casualties would have been allowed alive today had they received the basic medical care that their conditions required. I speak to you on behalf of 4 million people who live in a country that was British Somaliland Protectorate. Our fathers and grandfathers and uncles and cousins and neighbors fought alongside British troops in World War I. My grandfather was a signalsman. And in the Second World War, when my father was a medical health professional. Both were decorated by Britain for services to the Crown. When our people fought for justice and human rights and freedom, they did not need permission from other African countries. They went to war and fought the enemy that needed to be fought at that time. When Somaliland became independent on the 26th of June, 1960, I had the privilege to be here in your great country as a student. In fact, I used to come to an office down the road here, Great Smith Street, where there was the colonial office, because I was here in Britain on a scholarship that was granted to me by the British people. And when our independence came on 26th of June, I had the privilege to celebrate that occasion here in London. Very few of you were born at that time. The people of Somaliland went into a union with neighboring Italian Somalia through their own volition. They were not pushed into it. They were not conquered by neighboring Italian Somalia. They went into that union the same way that many people and many governments and many countries go into unions and partnerships with others. Companies unite. Look at Europe today. Britain was part of the governments that liberated Europe and joined the European Union because it believed that that union would make Europe great. But when the people of Great Britain decided that maybe they should be withdrawing from that union, and the people of Great Britain voted, and majority gave their vote to a withdrawal from that union, that decision was respected. And a motion of separation from Europe was put in motion. It was the will of the people to unite, and again the will of the people to withdraw from that union. and maybe look for a different arrangement. The people of Somaliland chose to unite with Somalia and then chose to withdraw from that union. How many of you know people who have gone into a union with another person or a company? I speak from experience. I went into marriage not wanting a divorce, but because I believed that the person I united myself with in marriage was the best person for me to unite with at that time. I did not say, I need a divorce in so many years down the road, therefore I will marry. I married because it seemed the right thing to do at that time. But circumstances happen that change that desire to unite to another person or a company or a country or a political party or whatever. Changes happen. And when the majority of people decide to withdraw from something they had gone into unanimously at the beginning, then the will of the people of Somaliland needs to be given a hearing. I wish to speak on behalf of 4 million Somalilanders who have been sentenced into oblivion, who are being punished for the sins of others, when those who have perpetrated sins against Somaliland are being rewarded for those acts. Billions and billions of taxpayers' money from all corners of the world is going into Somalia to reward it for its deliberate lawlessness, to reward it for harboring elements of fundamentalism, to reward it for acts of genocide perpetrated against Somaliland and very often against people of within Somalia itself, to reward it for piracy, for giving the Horn of Africa the name of being the most pirate-infested waters. A few months ago, in October, 500 innocent victims were killed in Mogadishu. Innocent victims in a market. And Somaliland is being punished for those sins. When Somaliland has been peaceful, Somaliland has been stable, Somaliland has been law-abiding, Somaliland has been welcoming refugees from neighboring Somalia and now from across the waters from Adan. When Somalilanders have created a haven of peace and stability in that proverbial turbulent waters of the Horn. Somalilanders are being denied their day in court. And I appeal to you, honorable members of parliament, honorable councillors, guests, ministers, I appeal to you because I know you, each one of you, has been elected by a group of people in your constituencies who chose you from among others because they believed that you were fair, that you were just, that you would be better than the other candidates who were campaigning against you. I too put my trust in you, as your constituencies have done, because Somaliland has been denied its day in court. I cannot ask you to recognize Somaliland because it is governments who recognize Somaliland. But I would like you to add your voice to ours to mine and to 4 million other Somalilanders who are looking for justice. Now, if Somaliland, if Somalia had been a criminal, they would have had a day in court, and there would have been a sentence that would say, for that sin that you have committed, you have been sentenced to X numbers of years of incarceration. And from that, there would be a countdown. 27, 26, 25, whatever, 2, next month I'll be free. Somaliland cannot have that privilege of a countdown. I would like to know how many more years of oblivion Somaliland has been sentenced to. We have already suffered 27 years. Do we wait for another 27 years for justice? Or will the world decide to unify its voice and to bring justice to the people of Somaliland? Because denying recognition to Somaliland, the recognition that they so fully deserve, would be denying that the people of the Horn the privilege of having one stable Somali nation called Somaliland. It would be denying the waters of the Red Sea the presence of one stable Somaliland. It would be discouraging other African countries from respecting democracy and justice and freedom, because Somaliland would become an example of a country that deserved every recognition and which has been denied that recognition. Don't recognize us because we have beautiful blue eyes. Recognize us because you need a friend. And we need your friendship. And the world needs the friendship of Somaliland. We have 500,000 young people today in Somaliland whose energy is all pent up, whose hope has been damaged because they don't see that light at the end of that tunnel that says, at last, your country has its rightful identity. They can be tempted to break up that peace and that stability that 250,000 of our people died for, that we have had the patience to rebuild over 25 years since we separated from Somalia. Today, I have young female surgeons in Somaliland because our hospitals have become a regional hub of referral for patients and people who cannot be treated in Somalia. They come to us. We treat their sick. We look after the refugees. We educate their youth. We're proud to do that. And it's the right thing to do. Because a young Somali person from neighboring Somalia who wishes to learn how to treat sick people rather than blow up healthy people is a good thing to do. And we're proud that we can do that. I know that I only have 10 minutes, but I'll ask for 1 more minute. I would like to speak also to my people back home. When I was foreign minister, well, before I was foreign minister and I was Minister of Social Affairs, I took 13 women, leaders, female Somaliland leaders from the civil society, and took them on an educational tour to Uganda to learn from other African countries and to see how those African countries have overcome the resistance to having women in important positions and in positions of decision making. And it was in 2002, at that time, that I presented to the president who I served as a minister at that time, and a good man, the proposal of granting women, like other countries have done elsewhere, where men are very resistant to having women join in the rebuilding of the nation, to give us a quota. Now, since that time, that decision has had various governments have played ping pong with it. It comes to the forefront, it goes to the back. I am going to appeal to all political parties who will be contesting or presenting candidates during the local government elections next year, that they have an equal number of women in their candidates for elections into the parliament. And I am going to ask my women, my sisters, my daughters, my granddaughters, that if a political party does not present female candidates in their manifesto and in their political campaigns, women should not vote for that political party. So men, if you want our votes, show us a female candidate to vote for. Because otherwise, why would we get up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning? Now I'm going to say something about FGM. FGM, I'm a midwife. I go to work every morning and I'm trying to get a baby out from that part of the body. Not from here, but you know where. And I'm frustrated because I see the damage that has been done to that child, to that woman, and the damage that is happening to her unborn child today, who is not able to come out as nature had intended it to come out. I've been fighting FGM for 42 years. If you go to our website, to the Edna Hospital website, you will see the only and first research that was done in the hospital, which showed that 98% of the women who came to the hospital had some form of FGM or other. And 99% of those women had the most severe form of FGM. After 40-something years of campaigning, this was distressing. This was painful for us to see that we had wasted so much time and energy and had put our necks on literally guillotines. Because after my campaign against FGM in 76, 78, 79, I'd go home to an angry husband. I'd go home to angry relatives. I'd say, how could you dishonor us? You are forgetting who you are. What makes you speak about that part of the female body? Today, at least we can speak about it without being afraid. But little girls are still being chopped up. Little girls are still being damaged. They're your daughters, they're your sisters, they're your cousins, they're your wives. And I want men to take up this challenge today. Do you want us to believe in you as the head of the family? Then prove to me that you are the head of that family. And you will say to your wife or to your mother and grandmother, my daughter will not be cut. Prove that to me. Then I will know that you are with us in this fight. Women and men must work together. That girl has a father and a mother. This is no battle for little old ladies like me to fight. We need to join hands. We need to protect our children from all kinds of injustice and mutilation, because it is mutilation. And ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for giving me this opportunity, and it gives me hope to see the next generation of battle, of fighters here. I'm proud. I'm proud to see so many powerful young Somaliland women. I'm also proud to see young ministers